Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Today is July 24th. The Red Sox have finally lost the game. Nolan Arenado, 2,000 career hits. Let's talk about it. Hello, everybody. My name is Steven. This is the middle of the order. How are we doing today, ladies and gentlemen? We are getting closer and closer to the end of the month and the trade deadline as that continues to loom large here as we finish up the month of July. We have a week of baseball to go over. With, again, some streaks that are ending, some streaks that are currently ongoing, and for the wrong reasons. Of course, the season is continuing on. We've got about less than 60 games now left on the docket, so it's kind of make or break time for some teams. We'll be saying that kind of every week, every other week, essentially, because these games, like every game matters, but when you get towards the end of the season, the pressure starts to rise, and each game you can feel the momentum and feel the impact of the wins and the losses. But with that all being said, why don't we jump into our series recap? Leading us off, we have the Pirates and the Yankees. The saxophones were loud as Jazz was playing all night long. 2 homers, 5 RBIs for Chisholm, an 8-5 Yankees win. Rain on Tuesday sets up the doubleheader on Wednesday. The Pirates take the first one as Jacob Gonzalez and Nick Gonzalez both homer. The Yankees tied it with a Ben Rice 3-run home run, his 30th of the year. This one went to extras, where the Pirates get 2 in extras and hold the Yankees 5-3 Pittsburgh. In the second game of the doubleheader, the Yankees scored 2 in the 7th, and that's all the runs in this game. It's a 2-0 Yankees win as they take 2 of 3 from the Pirates. Orioles and Red Sox now combined 20-win streak for these two teams. A 7-game winning streak, a 13-game winning streak. Tied in the 8th, it's Caleb Durbin hitting his 10th home run of the season. That puts the Red Sox up as front as they claim win number 14 in their winning streak, 6-5 the final. Like the Yankees and Pirates, we've got rain on Tuesday for the doubleheader on Wednesday. Christian Encarnacion Strand has back-to-back games with home runs, his first 2 home runs of the season. The Red Sox, though, scored 4 in the first. They add a Cedane Rafaela home run to win their 15th straight, tying their franchise's record 6-3. They would look to break it in the second game, but the Orioles score 4 in the first with the help from a Dylan Beavers 2 RBI single. Finally, a team holds the Red Sox from grabbing the lead. The win streak ends at 15 as Baltimore avoids the sweep with a 5-1 victory. Rays and Blue Jays played for now. Victor Mesa Jr., Cedric Mullins, and Nick Fortes all go deep in a 7-1 Rays win. Nick Fortes and Yandy Diaz both go deep. The Rays have 4 multi-run innings in the blowout win, 12-2 the final. The Rays then break a tie in the 6th inning of Game 3 with 3 runs as they scrape together a 3rd straight win, 4-2 the final. But the Blue Jays will avoid the 4-game sweep. Springer breaks a tie with an RBI single. The Jays salvage the series 3-1 the final. Giants and Royals now. Willy Adames ties this game up in the 9th with a 2-run home run, but the Royals end up walking it off with a Nick Lofton walk-off sac bunt for the win as the Royals scrape together a 4-3 win in the opener. Carter Jensen hits his 14th home run of the season, part of a 3-2 Royals win. And in the last game, Salvador Perez hits his 317th home run, tying George Brett for the most home runs in Royals franchise history. He is 1 away from becoming the all-time leader. A 5-4 Royals win as they sweep the Giants. Twins and Guardians in a 4-game set. The Guardians score a run in 7 of 8 innings. Brian Rocchio homers. Rhys Hoskins a 2-homer game. Petey Halpin hits his first and second career MLB home runs. He has a 2-homer game. Travis Bazzana goes deep. Patrick Bailey goes deep. 7 total home runs. in a 13-4 Guardians win in the opener. They then score 2 in the third and add 2 in the sixth of Game 2 as they take the lead and win it 5-2. In Game 3, Trevor Leonard, Brooks Lee, they both go deep as the Twins get 6 unanswered, part of a 10-6 Twins victory. And in the last game, we go to extras. Neither team scores in the 10th or 11th, but in the 12th, Twins get a pair on a couple of singles. They end up splitting the 4-game set after holding the Guardians in the 12th inning, 3-1 Minnesota, 2 games apiece. White Sox and Rangers now. The White Sox score 4 in the 5th to take the lead. They add 5 more in the 9th to blow it open. 10-3 White Sox the final. In Game 2, Brandon Nimmo, Wyatt Langford, they both go deep. The White Sox only get 3 hits in this game as the Rangers blank them 10-0 the final. And in the rematch, Cam Cauley hits his first career MLB home run with Texas. The White Sox, though, take the lead in the 4th with 2 RBI singles. They hold on to a 4-2 victory to take 2 of 3 from Texas. Reds and Mariners now. Cal Raleigh blows it open with a grand slam in the 7th to finish off a 6-run inning as the Mariners take the opener and blank the Reds 8-0 the final. In Game 2, Ellie De La Cruz, Eugenio Suarez, and Nathaniel Lau all go deep in a 4-2 Reds win. And in the last game, it's JJ Bleday and Sal Stewart who both homer. 5-3 Cincinnati. The Reds take 2 of 3 from the Mariners. Cardinals and Angels now. Angels down 1 in the 9th. They tie it on a Vaughn Grissom double and end up walking it off later on a Joe Adell hit by pitch with the bases loaded for the win. How about that? 3-2 Halos the final. In Game 2, Joe Adell homers to finish off a 5-run first, and that's all they would need as they end up winning it 5-1. But in the last game, the only run of it is on a J.J. Weatherholt home run for the Cardinals. 1-0 the final as the Cardinals avoid the sweep to the Halos. Marlins and Astros now. Ronald Blanco back making a start since last May from Tommy John, but the story is in the offense. Jeremy Pena, a grand slam, goes back-to-back with Yordan Alvarez as the Astros get 6 runs in the second. Yordan would have a 2-homer game as he does it later on. 8-5 Astros, they take the opener. Jeremy Pena homers again in the second game, and this time is joined by Isaac Paredes in a 5-3 Astros win. And to round it off, Pena does it again. 3 straight games with a homer. 3 homers in the series. 3 homers for Yordan as well as he hits a home run in this last game. 2 in the first game, 1 in the last one. He takes the MLB lead with his 34th homer of the season. And then Isaac Paredes, he has back-to-back games with a homer. He goes deep as well. 5-2 Astros as they sweep the Marlins. Dodgers and Phillies now. Trey Turner with a 2-homer game. Brandon Marsh, Bryce Harper, and Derek Hill join him and going deep as the Phillies take the opener 10-7. Max Muncy hits a go-ahead 2-run home run, which is enough to get the Dodgers a dub thanks to some poor Philly base running in the 9th inning. They had a chance to tie it, maybe even walk it off, but the Dodgers hold on to a 2-1 victory. And in the last game, Dalton rushing homers, Max Muncy homers. Dodgers score 6 unanswered. They take a 9-5 victory to take 2 of 3 from the Phillies. Padres and Braves now. They play a 4-game set. Michael Harris II and Ozzie Albies both going deep in a 3-2 Braves win. Manny Machado in Game 2. He has a 2-homer game. Jackson Merrill goes deep, as well as Fernando Tatis Jr., who hits the longest home run of the year so far, going 474 feet. As the Padres in the series, 8-3 the final. For the third game, the Braves break the tie in the 8th, scoring 6 runs, which seems like more than enough, but the Padres make it close, getting 5 runs in the 9th, but fall 1 run short as Braves hold on to a 7-6 victory. And in the last game, Michael Harris II homers again, Ozzie Albies homers again, Dominic Smith with the go-ahead shot, Drake Baldwin as well. The Braves with a 6-5 victory thanks to the 4 home runs as they take 3 of 4 from the Padres. Mets and Brewers now. Peralta against his old team doesn't go well as Cooper Pratt hits his first career MLB home run. Andrew Vaughn goes deep and Joey Ortiz as well. The three Brewers homers helped them take the opener 8-3 the final. Jared Young and Luis Robert Jr. both go deep in the second game as the Mets even up the series with a 4-0 victory. And in the last game, Yelich and Joey Ortiz, they both get 2 RBIs in the game. They each hit a triple in this game. 4-3 Brewers, they take 2 of 3 from the Mets. Tigers and Cubs now. Riley Green, Dylan Dingler hit back-to-back homers in the first. Seiya Suzuki and Michael Busch hit back-to-back homers in the third. Dylan Dingler, a 2-homer game. He goes deep, but Ian Happ ties it in the 8th, a 2-run shot. We go to extras with the Tigers score 3 thanks to hits from Dylan Dingler and Spencer Torkelson. The Cubs only get 1 back as the Tigers hold on to an 8-6 victory in 10. In the second game, the Cubs score 6 runs in the first, and they ride this one out for the win. They add a Michael Conforto homer, but it was not necessary. It's all Chicago in an 11-2 victory. But in the rubber match, the Tigers get the bounce back. Spencer Torkelson homers, as does Hao Yu Lee, which gives the Tigers a lead as he hits a 3-run shot. Tigers with a 5-1 victory to take 2 of 3 from the Cubs. Nationals and Rockies now. Andreas Chaparro, Jacob Young, and CJ Abrams all go deep as the Nats take a 7-3 victory. Abrams would continue in Game 2. He has a 2-homer game, up to 3 homers in the series. Mickey Moniak hits a go-ahead homer in the 6th, but the Nats re-tie this game up, so it's up to Hunter Goodman, who hits another go-ahead home run in this game for the Rockies. This time in the 8th inning, and this time it's enough for the Rockies to hold on to the win as they take it 8-7. And in the last game, Luis Garcia Jr., he hits a 2-run home run in the 7th, part of a 6-run inning to help blow it open as the Nats blank the Rockies, take an 8-0 victory, and take 2 of 3 from the Rockies. Here we go with the A's and D-backs now. Joshua Kuroda Grauer, he hits his first career MLB home run. One of those long last name kind of guys. Jacob Wilson goes deep as well as the A's take the opener 5-2. In Game 2, Jacob Wilson homers again, this time in the 9th, which ties this game up. We go to extras. The A's get 1 run. However, the D-backs get 2. They walk it off on an Ildemar Vargas RBI single for the win. 6-5 the final in 10 in that one. And in the last game, the red match here, the D-backs are all over A's pitching. Corbin Carroll homers, Nolan Arenado homers, Gabriel Moreno homers, James McCann homers, as well as Ryan Waldschmidt, who hits his first career MLB home run. The D-backs with a 15-5 victory. They take 2 of 3 from the A's. And surprise, surprise, we've got one more game as the D-backs would end up playing the Cardinals in St. Louis. They have a 1-game makeup from June 25th. So far, Cardinals took the first game, Arizona took the next 2 games, so this is the end of a 4-game set. Tyler Locklear hits his first home run of the season. The D-backs come back from down 2 early, scoring 10 unanswered, with half of that 10 being scored in the 8th inning. That's 5 runs in the 8th inning if you cannot do simple math. The D-backs hold on to a 10-6 victory. They end up taking 3 of 4 from this series, which you go back to the end of June, and that is your series recap. All right, now let's get into the game of the week, and we're going to Wrigley Field. The Tigers taking on the Cubs, game 1 on Monday, and it starts with 2 runners on and Riley Green connecting for his 15th home run of the season. A 3-run shot gets the Tigers out and rolling, but they aren't done because the very next batter is Dylan Dingler. He hits his 20th homer of the season. back-to-back home runs, and it's 4-0 Detroit. It would stay that way until the bottom of the third, where Seiya Suzuki hits a 2-run homer, his 16th of the year, gets the Cubs on the board. Very next batter is Michael Busch, his 13th homer of the season, and all of a sudden, it's a 1-run game. We go now to the top of the eighth, where Dylan Dingler does it again, his second homer of the game, his 21st on the season, gets the Tigers an insurance run, but it did not matter because with Alex Bregman on, Ian Happ hits his 18th homer of the season. The 2-run shot ties this game up at 5. It's a brand new ball game. Before we go to extras, we got to talk about the bottom of the ninth. Alex Bregman facing Kenley Jansen with the bases loaded and 2 outs. Any hit, any walk would win this game. Jansen goes ball 1, ball 2, and ball 3 to Bregman. He's 1 ball away from walking in the walk-off run, but he comes back to strike out Bregman. A huge moment in this game to bring it to extras, and it was important because then Dylan Dingler picks up the RBI single. What a game he had. The Tigers take the lead. Spencer Torkelson after that picks up the 2 RBI single. 8-5 Tigers as they score 3 in the 10th. Pedro Ramirez ends up grounding out in the bottom of the 10th. That brings in a run, but that left the Cubs down to their last out of the game, which the Tigers are able to do as they hold on to an 8-6 victory in 10 to take game 1 of this series. That was an insane game and your game of the week. Of course, there were some other good ones as well, including the Caleb Durbin home run to win the 14th straight for Boston. And how about Cleveland hitting 7 home runs, 1 under their franchise best, to open up that 4-game series against the Twins. Speaking of Durbin and the Red Sox, let's talk Boston because the win streak is over. Boston has won 15th straight wins. They tied their franchise record set back in 1946. The last time the Boston Red Sox lost a game before that doubleheader was all the way back to July 1st. They had not lost in 3 straight weeks. They were entered the All-Star break on the winning streak. They continued on the winning streak as well. They took the 4-game sweep against Tampa and then took the first 2 against Baltimore before ending up with the loss here. But still an insane stretch that has completely rewritten Boston's season. You go back to July 1st, the beginning of the season, Boston had just lost 2. They were 37-48. That's right. They were 11 games back of 500. They were 14 games back of the Rays for first in the AL East, and they were 6 games back of the wild card. They were last in their division. And then on July 2nd, they picked up their first, well, actually, no, because July 2nd they had an off day. Friday, July 3rd, they picked up their first win. They they ended up 10 games under 500 and then started winning. They did not stop winning. So they went from 11 games under 500, 6.5 games out of a wild card spot and dead last in the division, to being 52-49. They got back above 500 for the first time since the first game of the season. They went win, loss, loss in their first 3 games of the season. They were not back above 500 until this point in the season. They had gone from 5th in their division to now 3rd in their division. And they went from, as I mentioned, out of the wild card by, 6.5 games, I believe, 6 games back of the wild card and 14 games back of the division. Now they're only 6.5 back of the division, and they are in a wild card spot for the first time all season long. They were one of 5 teams that have yet to be in a playoff predictor. I'll be mentioning that again when we get to that part of the episode, but they were one of 5 teams that were never in one of them all season long. They are now in a wild card spot for the first time all season. they've completely rewritten their season. We thought they were dead in the dead in the water, excuse me. We looked at how the Phillies, how they fired Rob Thompson, and how John Mattingly kind of helped, flip the Phillies script. When the Red Sox fired Cora and a bunch of their staff, they still weren't playing great. We were kind of writing off Boston from a good point, but then they start winning, and when you can go and do what they did, 15 straight games completely rewrites your season. That's exactly what Boston did right now. They are in a great position. And again, it was a team effort for Boston. You can't really single out one guy that was doing the heavy lifting. I mean, it was the pitching, it was the bullpen, it was the offense, defense. And again, they're without some key players here. You think of Garrett Crochet not being the ace right now, being at the helm of that Red Sox rotation. You think about the young kid, Roman Anthony, and what he was supposed to be able to bring to the table. He hasn't been healthy at all. And then you think about Trevor Story, he's another big kind of key piece and key contributor for Boston. It's the other guys that have been doing it, carrying the torch here. Wilson Contreras, Caleb Durbin, they've been key pieces there. Cedane Rafael has been very huge. You look at, guys like Sonny Gray, Aroldis Chapman, the back end of the bullpen there. I mean, Boston, as a team here, completely rewrites their season. But again, 15-game winning streak is great, and when you think about where they were, they're in a 10 out of 10 better position. No shit, Sherlock. However, it's not time to just be like, okay, well, we're in the wild card spot. Let's take the foot off the gas. No, no, no. There are teams in the AL that are hunting them down. The Mariners 2 games back. The Twins 2.5 back. Baltimore 3 games back. So just because Boston is in that wild card spot for now, and now that the 15-game winning streak is over, it does not mean they can just kind of throw in the towel and everything. They got to keep the foot on the gas right here, continue to roll, continue to go. And shout out Boston, because I mean, it's not every day you see a streak like this. Every season you see a streak like this. I mean, I feel like this is the longest winning streak in, since like the Cardinals, I think. And I think it was 2021 they won 15 games, I believe, or 14 games, and completely rewrote their season. So again, it's not every day you see this. When it is, it's a welcome sign. Shout out Boston. Keep it up. Moving on here, let's give some flowers to Mr. Nolan Arenado. He picked up career hit 2,000 over the week. He is the 6th active player to do so right now, and he was the 299th player to get this milestone. The next player to achieve 2,000 hits in an MLB career will be the 300th player to do so. As I mentioned, 6th active. The other 5 active include Freddie Freeman, Jose Altuve, Andrew McCutcheon, Paul Goldschmidt, and Manny Machado. Who had that on your bingo card? I did not realize Machado had that many hits. Of course, when you look at these active guys, one guy stands out, being Andrew McCutcheon, currently not continuing to add to those hits right now, but still very impressive for Nolan Arenado. Congrats on the milestone. I mean, 2,000 hits is a lot of hits to acquire in a big league career. So shout out Nolan Arenado. And as I mentioned, the 299th player to do so, the next one being 300. When you take a look at those next options there, Xander Bogaerts, 1,897. He's currently the next up on the list. However, Bryce Harper is just 3 hits behind Bogaerts at 1,894. I think Carlos Santana as well is close to that 1,894 mark with Harper. I think he's at like 1,892 or something. However, obviously Santana, not as inactive, I guess, or not as much as a starter as Bogaerts and Harper is. Kind of shocking that Xander Bogaerts has more hits than Bryce Harper. You would not think that's the case, but that happens to be the case here, in much less plate appearances as well, as is something I might add there. So Bogaerts or Harper right now, one of those two guys, looking like they'll be the 300th player to get to this milestone. But shout out Nolan Arenado for doing this. Of course, long-time career with the Rockies. Spent some seasons with the Cardinals now before his first season right now with Arizona, where he picked up career hit number 2,000 this past week. So shout out Nolan Arenado here. Last thing to really talk about here in terms of some baseball news, we mentioned Boston's 15-game winning streak and what that can do for a season. However, the Miami Marlins have been swept. Not once, not twice, but now 3 straight sweeps in this series. They have lost 9 straight, similar to what the Athletics have done. We talked about the Athletics, and they were in that 4-team hunt in the AL West before they lost 10 straight and kind of fell out of it, not only in the AL West, but potentially in the AL as a whole. Wild card is even further right now than the actual division is. If the A's wanted to do any playoffs, the pathway right now seems to be win the division. However, the Miami Marlins were in such a great position. They had turned their season around kind of late, being one of the best teams entering June. They were up there with the Braves and Phillies trying to cut down for the division. However, when you lose 9 straight, that is going to be much harder. They've gone now 8.5 back of the Braves, who have just won their 60th win of the season. They became the 3rd team to reach the 60-win mark. Of course, all 3 of them being in the NL. Of course, Dodgers and Brewers, 2 of the best teams in baseball this season. But yeah, with the Marlins, you lose 9 straight. Yeah, 8.5 back of the division. Excuse me. However, they were in a good spot in the wild card. They were the 5th seed at one point, I believe. So the 9 games, yes, it does hurt them, and there are great teams in the NL who are chasing that wild card. However, it doesn't kind of kill them like it did the Athletics. The Athletics' 10-game losing streak really killed their playoff chances here. Yes, there's still time, but it's kind of like go or go home kind of style. For the Marlins, even though this 9-game losing streak is a big blow, they only end up right now, they're 2 games back of the wild card right now, tied with the Nationals. However, there are still teams that are ahead of them, such as the Cardinals, who are a game and a half back, the Pirates, who are just a game back of the Diamondbacks, who currently hold that 3rd wild card seed. So a bit of a blow right now for the Marlins. They need to try to right their ship and right it quickly in a big way. They're about to fall to 4th place in the NL East. Again, them and the Nats currently tied, both of them 52 and 51. Shout out Miami and Washington, over 100 games of the season, and both of them are above 500. That's pretty insane. But yeah, Miami right now, 9-game losing streak, and that's brutal. Again, you're a really good team. You've been competing kind of all season long. Now you've lost 9. I mean, just again before the deadline as well, like, you really got to start turning things around, find a way to start winning some games to get back into that win column. Needs to happen this weekend, you got to think. Of course, a series now against the Padres coming up for them. If they get swept again, that's 4 straight series. That would be 12 straight losses. And that can really be the difference between a team that makes the playoffs come September and a team that misses the playoffs come September. So Miami, figure it out, please, and thank you, because I like the Marlins and I want to see them succeed. And right now they are not succeeding. So that is where we're at in terms of the baseball. Let's take a look now at some injury updates from the week, and there was a healthy list here. The Marlins did end up losing Max Meyer, their pitcher, 15-day IL with a strained neck issue. Baltimore losing Adley Rutschman on the 10-day IL with wrist inflammation, and if you think that's bad, it gets worse because they lose their other catcher, Samuel Basallo, on the 10-day IL with shoulder inflammation. Both their catchers going down in the same week. Not fun there if you are with Baltimore. Miguel Andujar from the Padres ended up on the 10-day IL, a fractured right wrist. Kyle Higashioka from Texas on the 10-day IL with a strained flexor. Bobby Witt Jr., that's a big blow for him and the Royals, 10-day IL with a lower back tightness. Tigers send Jack Flaherty on the 15-day IL with a flexor inflammation. White Sox losing Kyle Teal on the 10-day IL. He's got a sprained ankle and is expected to miss 5 to 8 weeks, so that's a big blow there. Joshua Grower, hit his first career MLB home run this week and also ended up on the 10-day IL with a ruptured testicle. Yep, that's the injury. Blue Jays lose Patrick Corbin, 10-day IL with a strained shoulder. Those are the injury updates from the week. Some big, some not as big, and some a ruptured testicle. We move on to some outstanding performances from the week. There were some good ones, including George Kirby from your Mariners, who goes 6 innings, 3 hits, no runs, a walk, and 6 Ks. Jose Soriano from the Angels. He was hot at the beginning of the year. Good to see him back on the list here. 7 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs, a walk, and 7 Ks. Kumar Rocker from Texas. 6 innings, only 1 hit allowed, did not give up any runs, had 2 walks with 6 Ks. Tatsuya Imai, 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 3 walks, and 8 Ks. So far, I went Mariner, Angel, Ranger, Astro. All 4 pitchers so far from the AL West. I promise that's not intentional. Here is Justin Wroblewski from the Dodgers, though. 6 1/3, 5 hits, a run, a walk, and 7 Ks. He dueled Zach Wheeler, who went 7 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, no walks, and 9 Ks. Garrett Cole went 7 innings, 4 hits, 3 earned runs, no walks, and 11 Ks. Just had a couple of mistake pitches, but was otherwise very, very good. Max Fried, his first game back from the IL, went 5 innings, only with 1 hit, no runs, a walk, and 7 Ks. He went up against Bubba Chandler, who went 6 1/3, only giving up 2 hits, no runs, a walk, and 5 Ks. Shout out Kyle Bradish, gets the extension from Baltimore, and he was the winning pitcher against the Boston Red Sox to end that 15-game winning streak. He went 6 innings, 4 hits, a run, a walk, and 4 Ks. Griffin Jax continues to show out in his new role as a starter, going from bullpen to starter with Tampa Bay. He went 6 innings, 3 hits, a run, a walk, and 5 Ks. Hunter Dobbins, how about it? 6 innings, 6 hits, no runs, no walks, and 5 Ks. Great numbers there. Cade Cavalli goes 6 innings, 4 hits, no runs, 2 walks, while striking out 8. Shane Bieber, a big reason why the Blue Jays were able to win one of their games this week. They went 7 innings, 3 hits, a run, no walks, while striking out 3. And then the last game here between the Twins and Guardians saw a pitcher's duel between Gavin Williams and Taj Bradley. Williams going 7 innings, 2 hits, no runs, no walks, while striking out 11 batters. Taj Bradley, 7 innings, 2 hits, did give up a run, did walk 3 batters, and only picked up 5 strikeouts. Those are the outstanding performances from the week, and that now brings us to our stat leaderboard, who is taken over because there are a change or two to mention. The average is still Otto Lopez. His points drop just slightly from last week, going from 334 to 332. He, of course, still leads in hits right now at 131. Is working his way up for that batting title, However, Luis Arraez is starting to get hot on his tail there in the NL, so we'll see there. Kyle Schwarber, for the first time in weeks, no longer leads the MLB in home runs. It is now Yordan Alvarez. After hitting 3 this past week, he's up to 34 and stands alone. He is now tied with RBIs with Jordan Walker. Both of them have 77 RBIs. James Wood, of course, still leads in runs. He is so cleared in this category, it's not even funny. He's got 94. Leads in walks with 81. Nazman Nunez picked up 3 stolen bases this past week. He went from 34 to 37. And then Yordan Alvarez's OPS, he still leads the league. It went up by 30 whole points. He went from 1.059 to 1.089. That's what it currently sits at right now. He is on Triple Crown watch and is right now the favorite to win the MVP in the AL if he can keep it up. Something about not keeping it up, though, Aaron Ashby. He's had 12 wins pretty much all month long. He's been leading that stat alone for the longest time, but now he's got some company as Chase Burns, Sonny Gray, and Christopher Sanchez all tie with Ashby. The 4 of them lead the league, each with 12 wins on the season. Of course, Jacob Mizrowski, fighting for the NL Cy Young, still leads in ERA and strikeouts. ERA is down to 1.57, while the strikeouts are up to 173. And then, of course, the Guardians' own Cade Smith, 29 saves on the season, still leads the league, and is just 1 away from being the first pitcher to get to 30 saves on the season so far. So that is your stat leaderboard. That's your update there. Now let's get into the upcoming series for the weekend, and there are some good ones to go over. The Braves are going to Baltimore to take on the Oilers. The hottest team in the AL East takes on the coldest team in the AL East. The Blue Jays in Fenway to take on the Red Sox. You've got the battle of small ball, Guardians and Rays, two very good teams going at it. That's a fun series for sure. Royals and Tigers set to play 4-game series. The A's are in Minnesota to take on the Twins. Astros and White Sox, that seems like that's a big series. That's a fun one there. Mariners and Rangers, this is the series to watch. Texas 51 and 51. The Mariners 51 and 52. Half a game away from each other right now, and they've got a 4-game set due up. Watch those games. Those are going to be good ones. The Dodgers are at Citi Field to take on the Mets. The D-backs in National Park to, of course, take on the Nationals. Padres at Marlins. We mentioned what it means for Miami right now. They got to find wins. The Yankees going back to Citi Field to take on the Phillies. You've got a Cubs and Pirates matchup, a Reds and Cardinals matchup. The Rockies in Milwaukee to take on the Brewers, and it finishes it off with the Los Angeles Angels in San Francisco to take on the Giants. That is the not stat leaderboard. That's the upcoming series to watch this weekend. As I mentioned, Texas and Seattle. That's the one that I'm going to be trying to watch all weekend long. Those 4 games will be very, very good. And that brings us to our playoff predictor. If the season ended today, who is in the playoffs and who is winning it all? Boston, as I mentioned when I was talking about them, for the first time all season long are in a playoff predictor. I think this is the first time this podcast in their history that we've had 26 teams at some point be in the playoff predictor. The only 4 teams that have yet to be in a playoff spot for the playoff predictor to take form has been the Los Angeles Angels, the New York Mets, the Colorado Rockies, and the San Francisco Giants. Those are the only 4 teams that have yet to be in a playoff spot at all this season. The Red Sox, as I mentioned, the 6th seed, they take on the Texas Rangers in the 3 seed. Guardians, the 5 seed, taking on the Yankees in the 4 seed. And it is the AL East teams that move on. The Red Sox beat the Rangers. Yankees beat the Guardians. So you have a Red Sox and White Sox matchup, the White Sox being the 2 seed, while the Yankees take on the Rays. So you have 3 teams from the AL East, and the White Sox are in there for fun as well. However, the White Sox do handle the Red Sox, while the Rays beat the Yankees. So your ALCS matchup is the Chicago White Sox and Tampa Bay Rays, to which the White Sox beat the Rays and head to the World Series. On the NL side, the 6-seeded D-backs taking on the 3-seeded Braves, while the 5-seeded Cubs take on the 5-seeded Phillies take on the 4-seeded Cubs. The Diamondbacks upset the Braves. The Phillies upset the Cubs. So we go to the NLDS matchups, while the D-backs taking on the Brewers in the 2 seed, and the Phillies will have a rematch with the Dodgers, the 1 seed in the NLDS. Phillies find their revenge. They beat the Dodgers, while the D-backs handle their Brewers. So the D-backs will end up in the NLCS against the Phillies. When have we seen this? That's right, 2023, where the D-backs beat the Phillies. They'd be looking for some revenge in this series, but they cannot find it as the Diamondbacks head to the World Series. You've got an Arizona Diamondbacks and a Chicago White Sox World Series. How awesome would this World Series be? The Chicago White Sox would end up being your champions for 2026. And that would be a very fun World Series. That is the playoff predictor. And that is our episode here today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, everybody, so much. July basically down to the wire here, almost over, just 10 days away from the trade deadline, which means your favorite team probably has 8 or 9 games to really make a difference if they're going to be buyers or sellers, especially if your team's sitting kind of in the middle of either or. These next 6-7 games will be make or break time for sure. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you all. Thank you, everybody, so much, and I will see you on Monday.